So I like that Krampus just got on board with the extreme advertising, starts riding into town on a Razor scooter. And instead of beating you with a switch, he just spins the scooter into your shin.
Just freaking kick flips your ass.
Does a sick ollie over top of you.
Yeah, 360 variable twist on your face, you bitch.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Shadows and Sightings, a paranormal podcast where we talk about all things spooky. I'm Taylor.
I'm Nick.
And this week we have the much anticipated, at least by Nick's account, Krampus episode.
Yeah, he's not really a cryptid, per se. But
he's folklore.
He's a folklore, yeah.
And he's making a comeback.
He is.
Into pop culture, into our view in modern times.
Once regarded as an evil entity hell-bent on dragging children to their depths, to
their dooms.
To their dooms.
Being swatted with birch branches and stuffed into naughty children's sacks.
Yeah.
So today being kind of a fun guy, kind of a fun person to hang out with at the Christmas party.
Yeah, like the, I don't know, who would be a good example? Like, if you were to compare it to The Office, who would Krampus be?
Oh, Krampus would be Creed.
Well, Creed wasn't fun to hang out with, so Creed.
But he was so interesting. And he was like kind of dark. He was definitely mysterious.
True.
His story changed all the time.
It was never straightforward.
But I don't know, when they get Creed out of The Office, people seem to enjoy hanging out with him to an extent.
Yeah,
he's just weird.
Yeah. He's just an oddball. Yeah, for sure.
You have like Santa Claus would be Michael.
Yeah.
And then, if we have to go through the office of Christmas characters, I don't know where we would end up.
Future episode.
But we're back now. We took a week off for the Thanksgiving holiday.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was very good. Spent the time with the family, watched some football, ate too much, went out for Drinksgiving. So the night before, just go out and to the bar and get plastered drunk.
I always forget that is the thing.
That's like one of the biggest drinking holidays of the year.
I can't do it anymore.
Me either. I should not have went. I should not have went out.
That's how you know you're getting older.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Oh yeah, it was Thanksgiving over. We went to the in-laws, and I literally only had probably 2 glasses of wine. But
wine drunk gets it.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I wasn't plastered. I felt perfectly fine. But the next morning when I woke up, I was hungover.
You know what's crazy to me now is, if you couldn't tell my voice or whatever, I've kind of been sick. So I take like 2 shots on NyQuil to go to bed.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. I woke up yesterday feeling like hungover.
Yeah,
I was like,
that groggy feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
It'll put you to sleep. It'll knock you out.
I wish it would.
Are you feeling better though? Finally?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Which is good because I got a busy week this week. Coming up with a lot of singing to do.
Full schedule.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure for you this time of year.
Yeah, there's Elvis Christmas tunes, man. They're popular.
Oh, what's the most requested Elvis?
Blue Christmas, of course.
Yeah,
of course. Somebody asked me like, "Do you have that in your set for your Christmas?" I'm like, "No, I've never heard it before."
Is it Blue Christmas?
Huh? Oh, you mean White Christmas, right?
No.
Did you do any Black Friday shopping? Did you get out there and fight the masses?
I did not. That's another thing is, as you get older, you just lose your. It's not interesting anymore.
I mean, I went out for it because I needed a new TV. And that was the best time to get one, obviously. But I was thankful that this time, you go to Best Buy at 4:00 in the afternoon on Black Friday. They still have tons of TVs there. And they're all super cheap.
There was a time where
you'd have to get there at 4 a.m. and fight a grandma with a stick. To quote Tobey Maguire, I had to beat an old lady with a stick.
So I used to work at Home Depot years ago, and that was the first time that I had ever had a retail job and witnessed the craziness of Black Friday. And the thing
was, Home Depot.
The thing was, I wasn't even a retail facing person. I was a loader, so I would help the contractors like load drywall and lumber and stuff. But on that day, they kind of had me doing just like rounds of, just making sure
people were,
or which at that, like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, you guys have asset protection. You guys literally tell me that I'm not allowed to interact with people. Right. So I'm all right, well, whatever. Craziest thing though was those like shop vacs. They went on sale. I think normally they're $30-$40, but they went on sale for $20. And you would have thought that, like,
the elixir of
yeah,
life.
like that there was a famine or something, and this was the last, like,
last shot back on the planet.
I saw old ladies running in there. I saw grown men. I saw a grown man literally throw like a 5-year-old child, like shoved him out of the way to get this shot
just
back.
for a shot back. My gosh,
it was insane. My manager at the time, she couldn't believe it. She was like so mad. She's like, that man pushed over a child. It was crazy.
Did you see the movie Thanksgiving, the horror movie that Eli Roth put out?
Oh, last year with it was like the Pilgrim, or was it 2 years ago?
John Carver is the
Pilgrim murderer guy.
Yeah. Did you end up seeing that? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the premise of that movie. Is Black Friday causes this dude to go on a killing spree. Okay. And like the kills and the opening like Black Friday massacre quote unquote scene are insane. Like spoilers for the movie Thanksgiving incoming a little bit, but one of the characters runs in and gets trampled. One of the security guards, like right off the bat, gets trampled. But like they knock the doors down and trample over this dude.
That actually happened.
Yeah, he's took real life.
That was Walmart. Like 3. And what was really messed up about that though was after that happened, I think Walmart, they either denied all like plausibility or anything like that.
Oh, probably.
And the family like tried to like sue Walmart or whatever. But they pretty much washed their hands of it. And they're like, well, they kind of knew what they were getting into when they took the job or something crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, then there's another lady who like gets knocked down, and 2 shoppers like run into each other to get this thing, and her hair gets caught in the shopping wheel carts. So they're like fighting over this stuff, and then they just start yanking her scalp off of her head.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh.
Is this like Terrifier, but Thanksgiving filter?
It's not nearly as bad as Terrifier. No, it's not nearly as bad as Terrifier. There's a couple of scenes that are pretty brutal. Like the one he puts together a Thanksgiving dinner, the murderer does, and the one of the main character's wives or something like that. Again, spoilers, she gets put in the oven and he cooks her alive and then serves her.
How big of an oven is this?
It was like an industrial sized pizza oven or something.
Okay.
Or there's like old boiler room type things. He just like, stuffed her in and serves her for the dinner.
I forget.
It's crazy.
Recently, where was it I don't know if this was a more recent event or if it was a news article. I think it took place in like Hungary or Austria or something like that. Apparently a lady fell into a confectioner's, like a chocolate factory or something. In one of the boilers.
She got Oompa
essentially. This lady like fell in one of the boilers and molten hot caramel started pouring in and essentially boiled this lady alive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It just, you read stories like that and it's like, this shit actually happened.
Like, how does it still happen?
Right. Yeah. And like modern day and age, it's insane.
But speaking of confectionery treats, it's Christmas time now. Thanksgiving's over. Yeah. It's Christmas time. And we're going to do some Christmas themed things here for the next couple weeks until the big day where Santa Claus comes to town. So we're going to talk about Santa Claus's most demonic helper, Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus, or how the Germans like to say, Krampus.
Do you know that for sure?
I don't know. I'm not sure what like the phonetics,
what the dialect
of
might be
of Germans, but I've noticed, how certain cultures, the way they pronounce certain things, you can kind of tell just by hearing it that, that's like this.
It's like an American accent.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have one person from Boston talk to somebody from New Orleans and they would not understand each other.
Yeah, for sure. From what I've seen and what I've heard, it sounds like in the German language, whenever there's like an R, like a KR, like Krampus or whatever, the R is kind of like silent, like Krampus, Minecraft, Did you see that? Speaking of Minecraft, did you see that video last year circling around TikTok? It was I'm assuming it's fake. It had to have been fake. There's no way it was real, but it's Christmas morning. It's a German family, and the little boy is opening up a gift, and it's a book. And the dad walks up and he's like, "What's that, buddy?" And it's a copy of Mein Kampf. Like Hitler's like
Jesus.
And he goes to the dad. And he's like, "What? Like, why the fuck did you get him this?" He's like, "That's what he asked for. He asked for Mein Kampf, Mein Klaft." Mein Klaft. And the kid wanted Minecraft and got him a copy of Mein Kampf. And granddad's like, "Oh, I thought it was weird too." But the dad walks away.
To learn about his history.
Dad walks away. He's looking like, "Where the fuck did you even get this?" But yeah, so Krampus, I'm excited about it just because I didn't know. So the version of Krampus that I always heard about was the typical, if you're like a naughty kid, he essentially will take you away in this
put you in the naughty children's sack, beat you with a branch.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, though, the more traditional view of Krampus is that he's actually a helper for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So like,
I like that version.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you want for Christmas this year, little Timmy? I wanted a bicycle. And just Krampus is in the background, just beating the switch.
But you ain't getting no fucking bike this year, ain't you, Timmy? Just so yeah.
You've been a good boy, right, Timmy?
I've been away.
You see Krampus like loom up behind him, like sneak up behind him.
Just an ominous shadow with like white glaring eyes. Just like, I've been good, I swear.
Yeah, well, do you want to talk about that first? About how he kind of is a helper of Santa Claus, how that's been kind of become his role in Christmas lore, Christmas mythology, Santa Claus mythology.
So one thing I don't understand though, if he's Santa's helper, what's the purpose of the naughty list? Is that Krampus's job to keep track of that?
Yeah, because I don't think it's his job to keep track of it. It's more he's the enforcer because they felt that Saint Nick, as a saint, couldn't dish out punishments.
Yeah.
So he had to have a person come around to dish out the punishment for naughty kids. Again, I just love that version. It's like Santa Claus is sitting there, is like he talks to the kid. He's like, "Well, you are on the naughty list this year, so no gifts for you. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about this, but he can." Like Krampus just kicks the door open
and just like pulls out a Glock and just
the kid just screams.
Just craziness. So typically, as we know, American versions of Santa Claus typically depict Saint Nicholas, as an entity for interacting with good children. Krampus rolls around though, and while Santa Claus dispenses gifts, Krampus supplies coal and the root.
The root,
which is a set of birch branches that he kind of leaves in his place. I saw other versions too. So you'll get these branches, these birch like twigs and stuff as like a gift. Of course, there's the coal, and then other versions he leaves garlic, like strings of garlic. That's what like your gift is.
I like to imagine that like a young Van Helsing, a vampire hunter, got on the naughty list just so he could get the strings of garlic and the birch roots just to go around hunting vampires. Like, oh yes, exactly what I wanted.
Is that a thing with the birch root?
I don't know.
I mean, it'd be cool. Like carving the stakes out of these.
Yeah,
it's a whole system.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a whole system. I have to summon the Krampus once a year to restock.
Yeah.
the gifts that he brings.
He's in the R&D department for Van Helsing.
Yeah. The gifts that he brings me actually help me keep the vampire population low.
which in turns means Santa Claus has less toys to give because he doesn't have to give vampires gifts every year for millennia. What
does he do with the excess? Well, he puts them on eBay and then guess he buys them. I do, which I sell back to the children at twice the price.
So Van Helsing is a scalper? And not in like a vampire killing scalping way. Just he's on eBay.
He's on eBay. He's an internet warrior.
He's the one buying all the PS5 Pros.
Yeah, he's just wreaking havoc. Causing chaos wherever he goes. So typically another thing about Krampus is we have the holiday of, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but Krampusnacht? Krampusnacht. Or Krampus night. It's celebrated on the evening before December 6th, so on December 5th. September. So
it was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
As of this recording.
2 days ago. So December 5th is Krampusnacht, and then December 6th is St. Nicholas Day. I
didn't know they had a feast for you.
Yeah, right? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
We should do that. We should have a Nicholas feast on the 5th of December every year in honor of Nick.
It will be December 6th.
Right. And the night before, I'm going to come over and beat you with a birch branch.
I accept. But only if you wear like the cloven hooves and like...
Oh, yeah. I'll be in full costume. Don't worry.
Full costume. You have to have the chains and everything. Yep. And
throw you in a sack and put you in the trunk of the car, start beating you with a branch.
Oh, man. Could you imagine, like, American down south Krampus? Like, just pick your switch.
Oh, he's just a grandpa.
Yeah.
He's just an old grandpa.
Just beating your ass left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with the southern accent.
Heard you was on the naughty list, boy.
I imagine he looks like if it's like a black grandpa. It's Samuel L. Jackson. What was that movie?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know
what was that movie?
Where like he's always like the meme of him just like giving you the stink eye.
Yeah, but he has like the wife beater on. Oh God, what was that movie? I can't remember. But on Krampus night, on this night, Krampus enters town, lashes his chains and bells, and captures bad children in a basket.
Yeah, he makes a big show about it.
No, yeah. Oh yeah, remember how we talked about the Flatwoods Monster being a diva? Krampus is right up there.
Oh, yeah.
He knows his night.
He's an entertainer.
Oh, yeah. He probably rolls up in like a red Cadillac, like candle.
I was going to ask, like, since Santa Claus rides a horse-drawn or a sleigh with reindeer, what is Krampus riding into town on?
He's rolling up on a 2012 Harley V-Rod with candy apple red paint stripes. Okay. No questions asked.
Okay. All right. Just wheels on fire and...
Like he's like the motorcycle that he drives is what Ghost Rider
wishes he had. I was thinking it was just going to be the antithesis of Santa and he'd just roll in a big black Cadillac.
Like a hoopty?
No, like a really nice one.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the big like 1964, just a boat of
like
a car.
That old money.
Oh, yeah.
That old money style of Cadillac.
But I like him riding into town on a Harley too.
Like a V-Rod or...
With like snow tires on it though.
Yeah. Or it could be something really simple. Like a 1974 Ford Bronco.
Or even more simple. He rides into town on a Razor scooter.
He just rolls in on it.
He spins it and shins the kids.
Oh my God. That'd be awful.
That's the updated version of Krampus that we now wish we had.
Street Krampus. BMX bike Krampus. Extreme Krampus.
Remember back in the early 2000s where everything was extreme?
Oh, yeah.
Everything was extreme.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Matt Hoffman's BMX.
Yeah, everything was extreme.
Yeah, extreme. Even the drinks were extreme.
Oh, yeah. You had Surge.
Vault.
And
the obnoxious. Mountain Dew. You had the obnoxious,
advertising where it was.
Yeah, it's over the top.
I mean, you had Rocket Power.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything was extreme. So I like that Krampus just got on board with the extreme advertising, starts riding into town on a Razor scooter. And instead of beating you with a switch, he just spins the scooter into your shin.
Freaking kick flips your ass.
Does a sick ollie over top of you.
Yeah, 360 variable twist on your face, you bitch. Next time, listen to your parents.
Chugs a Code Red Mountain Dew, rides off.
Dude, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, that was extreme Krampus. Regular Krampus will be here soon.
Wait, I have to withstand another beating?
Well, not if you were on the nice list.
Well, I mean, this Krampus is a little bit more mild. He just gives you birch leaves or birch
a slap on the wrist.
Some garlic, coal, and then he drags you to hell.
What?
What was that last part? He gives you garlic.
He takes you to hell, Alaska. It's awful there.
Yeah, it's just he's such a great folktale.
He is. What does he look like?
So the traditional version of Krampus, I thought this was kind of interesting because I didn't know that he's actually portrayed like this. He's more human-like, actually. Mm-hmm. But he has like one leg that's like a goat hoof and one leg that's like a human foot. So I
like how he's like now a pirate, essentially.
Yeah, he's walking around with this like human foot and this goat leg, looking like this just abomination. Imagine that. You hear a knock on your door because if he's human, I'm imagining that he's somewhat polite. He's not just going to come rolling down your chimney. He might.
Santa does it.
Santa does, yeah, but that's expected. You know,
right.
Maybe the version of Krampus where he's like his helper. Okay, well, yeah, obviously he's going to come down the chimney as well. But or
it's just a tag team. Santa goes down the chimney, distracts the kids, and then he comes through the back door.
Dude, I'm telling you, that first interaction where like the very first house where they brought Krampus, because I imagine
he's a trainee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I imagine Santa's been doing this for years, and you know the elves are like, okay, look, this year our quota is huge. You need some help.
Yeah,
he's probably stressed out. Santa's like
the naughty kids just aren't getting it. They're on the list every single year. Nothing's changing.
Yeah, so there's this like huge board meeting, and they're like, okay, here's your new like trainees or whatever, and
it's like a lineup of like 10.
Yeah, and he's just like these off the wall like helpers or whatever, and like he gets like Krampus.
What's the story on that guy over there? He's Krampus standing there,
just
a hulking dude with a goat leg and
freaking chains like hanging down.
Like, that guy looks pretty. You want to talk to that guy?
Yeah, I think I do. What's it, Carl? No, Krampus. Yeah, so that very first instance, we're like, and that should be a movie, like very like Krampus and Santa Claus year one,
Krampus day one, or year one.
It's just chaos.
Santa's just trying to teach him the tricks of the trade, but Krampus does not care. He's just out for blood. And Santa like realizes what a mistake this was.
But they've already invested too much, so like
they invested 364 days of training,
and they can't undo it. So that's why we have him here today.
Every other day of the year, he's just like in his office job, like looking up new ways to torture people.
He's like really demented.
HR is very like concerned about his internet browsing history while he's at work. He's also got a long pointed tongue that drops out of his mouth.
Yep.
Fangs. He's got some devil horns. I think he's a pre-Christian-esque mythological figure.
He definitely has more, and that's the other thing too. I thought it was interesting how most people, when they hear Krampus, they're going to assume the goated devil, the horn. He essentially has a lot of similarities to like the depiction of like Satan or the devil. But yeah, the cloven hooves, the tongue that sticks out, the horns. He's often portrayed as like a very hulky looking figure, so very like thick,
a big boy.
Big boy. I've also noticed too that a hunchback almost.
Yeah.
He's always kind of like looming over and has like a hunchback thing going on.
Because he's supposed to be like 12 feet tall or something,
menacing,
right? Like 10 or 12 feet tall.
And but he's also depicted wearing like chains.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting. There's actually some symbolism behind that. And the reason being was when they, like we were talking about earlier, how with Saint Nick, where he was seen as a good patron and they needed like a patron to kind of deal out like ass whoopings for these naughty kids. And they create, the idea of like Krampus was born. They included the idea of like chains, started incorporating chains, and the symbolism behind the chains is that he is kind of like under the authority of the church.
Okay.
Like Christian, it's like you're not that he's like a slave, but
kind of binded.
Essentially. In the 1930s, there was like some controversy with, I think it was in Austria, or I believe it was Austria, where Krampus was kind of accepted as like normal thing over there, but with the rise of Christianity, kind of like and conservatism kind of booming in like the 1920s, the 30s, and it was like worldwide,
right.
Yeah, like the prohibition over here. So there was like this huge push in like the 1920s about anti what's the word? Not sobriety, but
anti-heathenry.
Well, not anti-heathenry, but like there's a word for it when it's there's like a term for it. We'll call them like modern day purists, essentially. But so it's
very establishment.
Yeah,
very conformative.
Straight
and narrow.
Big, basically. Yeah, essentially. Where you had like the flappers and stuff in like the 20s and like the speakeasies. There was like on the other side of the spectrum where like, what I'm just going to call
the gangsters and the
modern day purists,
Puritans.
They never really left. Same thing's kind of going on in Austria. They don't have like a prohibition, but it's like there's that conservative Christianity getting back to those Christian roots kind of thing.
Or yeah.
And
I was going to say becoming more Christian, but
becoming more Christian. Roots, it's like they kind of viewed Krampus as like, maybe we shouldn't glorify, this kind of character. So there's kind of like a push for him to like kind of be phased out of like Austrian culture. And they actually at one point even cited that it was for the mental health and well-being of the children, that we should not terrify them with this like demonic.
This guy's too scary.
Yeah, basically. But then of course there's like different versions of him also, like what does he actually do with the children? So in some versions of Krampus, he has the cloth sack. Others, he has a basket where he's just eating kids into this like this never-ending basket.
He's the anti-Santa's sack of toys.
Yeah, basically, it's like, I'm gonna keep you in this sack, and some versions he actually takes them down into hell, and it's terrifying. Did you ever see that movie Escape from Hell?
Nope.
Oh, awful. I mean, awful because like good horror movie, but a terrifying premise. This lady, it's like a gypsy woman, and I forget what like they cross paths, and it's one of those situations where she's like asking for like $1 or something like that. And she's like, no. But the thing was though, she wasn't like rude about it. She was just like, I don't have $1. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you kind of thing. And like the gypsy woman's like slighted by that.
I'm not taking a no for an answer.
Yeah, and curses her basically.
Jesus.
And places this demon after her that essentially a portal of hell opens up, and this demon like just drags people down into hell. And I was like, wow, that's kind of petty. Like she didn't really have a dog. She's trying to do her best. Like, so I imagine that's what Krampus is like in some versions.
Just the kid like puts some gum in his sister's hair to borrow from the Polar Express. They're like, all right, send Krampus in. And they're like, all right, well, we just gotta teach this kid a lesson. Don't let him put this gum in his sister's hair again, that kind of thing. And Krampus is like, oh, I'm on it, boss.
And it just like pans over. He was like sawing. He's like sharpening a saw. Oh yeah, I got it.
It just pans to the house, and he like kicks the door down, puts the kid in the sack, takes him to hell, and all the elves are like, what the fuck? we said just teach him a lesson.
Oh, teach him a lesson, all right. I'll be back in 24 hours. Slam.
What have we done?
Yeah, just drags him down there to the depths.
There's I guess to kind of dig into his origins a little more, there was a established pagan tradition about a character named Percht, Percht. He's kind of essentially the same thing. What is it?
Perchtenlauf.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what it is, but probably.
Well, that was the parade. Perchtenlaufen was the parade that they would do. So this character, whatever you want to call him. Yeah.
We're just going to call him Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
All right.
Sure, Pete for short. So Pete was a two-legged humanoid goat with a giraffe-like neck wearing animal furs. So people would wear costumes and march in a parade known as Perchtenlaufen, and regarded this character as an early form of Krampus. And then the Catholic Church kind of started ruining that for him. So as usual, Catholicism comes in and is like, hey, are you guys having fun? No, you can't do that.
We don't do fun here.
So that eventually got banned, and then that inspired what we know today as Krampus is. I guess the story for that kind of goes that Percht was transformed into Krampus, and then he was subjected, like he was made to serve Santa Claus.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way that
the Catholicism
portrayed him was, okay, you're a hired agent of the church now.
Yeah,
and we're making you
special agent Krampus.
Yeah, and we're making you special assistant to
the regional manager.
Yeah, so in this case, now you're Dwight. And
okay, maybe Krampus would be Dwight to Michael being Santa.
I think that makes more sense. Yeah, that
the
makes more sense.
Too.
Because Dwight, Krampus probably has that authority complex ego thing going on.
Like he's the one really in charge here.
Well, he thinks he's in charge.
Yeah.
But clearly it's Santa. But Dwight thinks he's like a manager, but he's just the assistant to the manager.
Yeah. And he's always the bad cop in the scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. You've convinced me. You've convinced me. Dwight is Krampus. He even dresses up as Belschnickel in one of the episodes, which is kind of similar to Krampus.
I just imagine Santa coming down first, down the chimney, And, Krampus is kind of like outside, like huddling, like waiting for a sign. Like, okay, I gotta wait for the sign. And Santa's actually like, in there, like talking to these, like none of the children are naughty. They're all good. He's just like sitting there, like, but then Krampus like just doesn't get the message or the memo, comes crashing down the chimney and just starts bitch slapping people left and right. And Santa's like, what are you doing?
Bitch slap Santa.
Naughty.
No, wait.
No, this is an orphanage. He's like, there are no bad kids here. We do this every year.
Krampus, get it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Snap out of it. Did you ever see the Krampus like horror movie?
Okay, I did, but I don't remember what it was. It's like bits and pieces of it. I know
I meant to watch it before this record and then I forgot.
I know I've seen it. I just don't remember like the plot, because when it came out I was so pumped for it. I was like, oh my gosh, I made a Krampus movie. And it's a horror comedy.
Oh, of course it is. It has to be.
It's not like a actual series. I forget. It's pretty ridiculous. Like I remember that.
As it should be.
I remember there was like some kids in it, and I forget how he ends up getting summoned to the house. It was good from what I remember. Like for it being a cheesy holiday
B-rated
movie. If you should watch it though, if you get a chance.
Yeah, I meant to watch it before this record happened, but then I forgot about it. But it is on Max, I think. So
yeah, and
get home and watch that sometime today, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie. I think there were some parts in it where it's like kind of like ridiculous, like kind of just goes off the wall. Like I vaguely remember there being like Nutcracker, like little toys, like coming to life. I vaguely remember that, but like I said, it's been so long since I've seen it.
Huh. Interesting.
You remember the Ginger Dead movies?
No.
The Ginger Dead Man?
No. Never seen it.
Watch it.
Okay.
It's an experience.
Is it?
There's another series called Evil Bong, and they like have like a cross. Like it's just so off the wall bizarre. It's essentially like Chucky, but it's a gingerbread man.
Okay.
So this gingerbread man gets possessed by this like murderer, and he just starts like
a lot of Christmas themed kills. I hope.
Yeah, it just starts going around.
Peppermint stick through the eye.
Oh yeah, through the butthole.
Oh, okay.
Through the just.
That's a different direction, but sure.
Hey, I keep seeing this post floating around the internet where people are like, "Oh man, I wish I lived in the past. It was so much better." And it's like a Renaissance style painting of like some battle in like the 1200s or whatever. And it's like some guy bent over and this other knight is just like shoving a spear in his ass. And it makes you wonder, like the people who like painted that, they were obviously there at that battle.
They seen that happen.
They saw that happen and they painted that. And of all the shit they saw that day, that's what stuck out in their mind.
It would certainly stick out in my mind. Maybe the spear ended up sticking out of that guy's mind too. The whole way through like a kebab.
Oh, that poor man. That is some great. It was probably Krampus.
It might have been.
It was probably Krampus.
Somebody needs to make that painting again with Krampus and a bunch of naughty children.
Yeah, just like,
maybe not a spear going through them, but that might be a little harsh. So did you know they had a Krampus run every year?
Yeah, it's in, well, I think it's in a couple different places. Is it Norway or is it Austria?
Austria.
There's Austria, yeah. Yeah, but it's essentially... well, there's a couple different things. There's also a couple parades too, but the basic gist of it is that people dress up like Krampus, like homemade Krampus costumes. Right. There's usually some form of like torch burning, I think, involved, and these people are just parading out in the streets.
And it's apparently the tradition or a custom to offer a Krampus schnapps as they go by.
Oh yeah,
so the Krampuses are getting belligerent drunk, drinking schnapps all day.
Just a bunch of drunk Krampuses, schnapps, torches, like. And
apparently, some spectators will take revenge for whippings on these Krampuses, and they'll attack them.
So let me get this straight. So these people at one point in time presumably were beaten by Krampus.
Yes.
So this is the one time a year where they get to beat Krampus back.
Yeah, they take revenge.
Oh, okay.
In 2013, after several Krampus runs and a total of 8 injured people were admitted to the Lienz District Hospital, and over 60 other patients were treated because they apparently just beat the shit out of each other.
It's just like... You see these like Krampus dudes just marching down the street.
And that was in East Tyrol, which is in Austria.
Okay. You just see like this like jack dude. I've been training all year for this moment. Yeah. Just has like a birch like branch. He's like bending it.
It's like the Avengers come back to take down Krampus.
It's like, yeah.
The Avengers of Austrian dude, just a jacked like Arnold Schwarzenegger looking dude.
He's got like a thick freaking 4x4 like piece of birch, but he's like bending it because he's like
It's not like a branch twig, it's a whole limb.
Yeah, it's like a limb off of this freaking branch or whatever. He's just like bending it like with rage.
Another guy's carrying the razor scooter.
Extreme Krampus. Like, he has it flipped the other way though, where he's holding it by the handles and he's like,
it's like a nunchuck.
A nunchuck.
Oh, two razor scooters put together.
He unclips them and sticks them just like
he's the Darth Maul of razor scooters.
Just freaking yeets it. Oh
it's like, yeah, he's like tornading both of them.
It's like a
throws it, and then it like takes out like a row of Krampus as it comes back like a boomerang, and he catches it.
It's like a flail. Just runs up the street, climbs up a light pole, and just dives. Into,
oh my gosh!
Goes.
You have another dude with a spear sticking it in a Krampus butt.
Oh my God. This is our time for revenge.
All the Krampuses are just running for their lives. They're just regular people in costumes. Like they have no idea what's happening. The real Krampus is like watching in his little crystal ball at the North Pole like, oh, I'm glad I'm not there.
But wouldn't that technically reinforce the cycle though? Is there like some written or unwritten clause that this is like allowed once a year for them? Or if not, because in theory, if there's not, technically that's just putting them further down the naughty list.
Yeah, you're just asking for more beatings.
Like in this world, does Krampus like get more like beefed up by the more naughtiness? That's like, so
I like that. I think that should be the case.
So like the more naughty the world is, the more jacked,
the more power Krampus gets.
Naughtiness is his protein. That's what Krampus fuels up on.
Yeah, it's children tears and naughty
and way naughty protein.
Yeah,
like,
he's getting like millions of grams of protein a day.
Oh my God! It's just that's why he's always so like huge and like he always wears like this huge robe, so you really never see him.
Yeah, he's like remember in Avatar: The Last Airbender in the last season when Iroh's like pretending to be this frail little old man, and he takes the robe off. He's jacked.
Fucking ripped. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's what you like. Oh, that's what Krampus looks like. That fat chooch.
Oh, we can take him. That's no problem.
He's got a 14 pack. Like, oh my!
Just the sound of 14 sets of jaws just hitting the floor.
Just like two giant swing dicks.
Like, Krampus has two dicks.
He's got that BDE, man. I'm telling you, it's like friggin' Dante's Inferno on 360 years ago. Like when you get to like the last level of hell and you're fighting Satan.
Yeah.
He looks just like Krampus. He has like the huge horns or whatever, but the cloven hooves and all that. But, you know, Satan always being depicted as this like giant phallic thing or whatever just steps on like the TV screen. And that's like the very first thing they show you. It's just like a fucking grandfather clock. It's just fucking swaying. Just swaying, bro. Krampus has that same energy.
Oh, man. What does he need a dick that big for?
He doesn't. He's just cocky.
I see what you did there.
He just likes making people seem inferior. Krampus gets off to... He definitely gets off to emasculating men.
Oh, my gosh.
So he walks around, dressed up, or you don't really know.
Big Santa Claus cloak, like the big jacket. Like he looks a part of the team to an extent.
I'm sure
besides the big horns and the hooves, and
I'm sure he's like a complete dick. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
He's got like that Homelander energy.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy, but deep down is very, very not.
Shit.
Oh yeah, and is into really weird shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what do you do with all this coal? I mind my fucking business. That's what I do. He goes home and he has like a whole bunch of mannequins and just like shoving coal in the belly button. It's just weird off the wall shit.
So strange. His wife walks in on him.
Get out. No, yeah, it's just, I imagine that's how Krampus, the true Krampus.
And that is the real spirit of Christmas. Big giant Krampus dicks.
Actually, we were at Philly a couple of years ago, and they had this, it's kind of a farmer's market, but it was, I think they do it every year, and I think it kind of hops around the country. But it's a World Oddity Expo farmer's market, so a bunch of vendors there just have like this really like, what's the word, macabre style things, lots of skulls, lots of, handmade. There was a lady there that was doing screen printed shirts. One of the things was a Krampus, like woodblock style. We didn't get the shirt, but we got an actual tote bag with it on.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, just like the traditional Krampus, just like stealing children. The kids like freaking the fuck out.
You gotta love pop culture. Like that song, it's like my neck, my back, but it's the Krampus. It's like my neck, my back, my naughty children's sack.
It's just like crappy kids left and right. I feel bad for the kid who just gets picked up by accident. It's just wrong place, wrong time kind of situation.
Scooped up by the belt loop, just tossed in.
He's like, wait, no, I have my paper.
He's like the unpopped popcorn kernel. Like when you make popcorn, you dump the whole bag in. It's like most of it's popped popcorn, but then you get like 4 or 5 kernels that sneak in there that didn't get popped. Like those are the ones that, and then you just get thrown out anyway. So it's like, well, you didn't, you had no business getting thrown in the trash, but here you are. So
it's not my fault. It's like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're
just
worthless.
threw in the wrong bag.
It's just like, I got a quota I got to maintain. Well, can you send me back? Not really.
I don't know what you're talking about. There is no point of return after you get tossed in the bag. You're done for.
It's a one-way ticket, man. But what about redemption?
What about it?
What about it? Like, your mom told you not to do that 3 times. There was your redemption.
Well, I stopped doing it on the 3rd time.
That sounds like a you problem, bro.
You watch football, 3 strikes, you're out. I don't think that's the... What?
Talking back? So then, is Krampus making a stop at your house when you were a kid?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Nah, not for me. Probably for my brother. Whole outlook of life might have changed if he would have got a visit from Krampus, but
yeah, no, Krampus definitely was not coming to my home. But that's because I didn't.
That's
know
because
Krampus.
Your dad was essentially Krampus anyway. Your mom and your dad would beat you anyway.
That's true, but also
just like all of us kids back in the 90s.
Yeah, but also I didn't know about Krampus in the 90s.
It's true.
Had I known, probably would have gone out of my way to invite Krampus over.
Yeah,
just because I feel like I could talk to him.
Just like, man to man.
Just shows up down your chimney. He's like, "Are you ready to get?" Hold on a second. I actually have a few questions. You'd end up leaving though because I like annoy the fuck out of it. But I know because of like the way that the laws are set up, like if I'm naughty, he has to show up.
Right.
He can't like get out of it.
What if he just comes in, no questions asked though? Like, you're on the naughty list. You're expecting Krampus to come in, that you can corner him and ask him some things, but then he just storms in, beats you, and throws you in the sack, and you don't get a word out edgewise.
Is that one of his strategies? Like, does he know?
I mean, he's from Austria. I'm sure he's familiar with Blitzkrieg tactics.
That's true. Blitzkrieg.
Just storm in, mow him down, and leave.
No questions asked. Yeah.
Brute force.
No. Yeah. No.
He doesn't seem to be a man of reason or logic.
I would challenge that. I think he does have some, because he can choose to give you, he has some sort of like ranking system. He's choosing between the birch rods, the garlic,
or the
coal,
sack to hell.
Or worst case scenario, like how bad did you have to fuck up where, that kid got coal, you got bird, you're going to hell. It's just like, okay, we're just going to make this easy. You and here.
But it's like his judgment system is so arbitrary. Like the one kid got in a fight at school and beat a kid within an inch of his life, he gets coal. So the kid commits tax fraud by accident, he's going to hell.
He gets a birch rod. The other kid, I don't know, he does something like completely like random and like not even
Not even naughty by some standards.
By some standards.
Like he just does something weird, like puts cheese on pancakes.
Yeah, Krampus is just like, oh god, you're all kinds of fucked up.
What are you talking about? McDonald's does it all the time.
It's called a McGriddle.
Is there any correlation that you know of, like how Santa has milk and cookies set out for him? Do they leave anything out? I mean, we talked about brandy a little bit. Is it the brand or the schnapps?
I didn't see any.
Is there anything
sort
like associated with what you give Krampus to keep him from visiting your house?
Not from what I saw. I didn't see if there was any sort of, because I thought about that. And maybe, yeah, is there a correlate? But I didn't see anything like that. I kind of feel like it's one of those situations if Krampus shows up, you're kind of fucked anyways.
Okay.
Because if you're the kind of person who's going to end up on the naughty list, you're probably not thinking of leaving things out.
I mean, like, yeah, you're not trying to appease him like you are Santa Claus. Like you leave the milk and cookies out for Santa as like a token of gratitude.
Yeah,
thanks for visiting my house. Whereas Krampus would like you leave something outside so that he doesn't come in your house, like to ward him away. Like, hey, here's my bargaining chip. Here's a toaster strudel and a Reese's cup. Please just don't come in my house. We'll call it even for this year.
Yeah. So according to folklore, while there's no guaranteed way to ward off Krampus, traditional practices to potentially appease him or deter his mischief, including behaving well throughout the year, leaving out small offerings like food or a drink on Krampschnaut, the schnapps
on the
or
5th.
whatever. Yeah. And sometimes even making noise to scare him away.
What kind of noise do you have to make to scare him away?
Yeah, right. So yeah, it doesn't really look like there's any traditional sense.
Yeah. It's kind of subjective.
Yeah, it's which could be anything. I mean,
that's what you should leave out a thing for him. Like, we're gonna put this outside so Krampus doesn't come in the house.
What's a Krampus? You don't know.
And then show him the horror movie. So what about pop culture? We've already talked a little bit about the movie that came out. When did that movie come out? 2015. He's made a big comeback in popular culture.
He is.
He's like Mothman.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's this holiday Mothman. Or essentially,
was like dormant for a long time, but now he's
within the last 10 years or so, people have really started to. I think I even saw a thing where he's making more of an appearance in American culture. So Krampus isn't even our,
it's not our thing at all.
It's not our thing at all or whatever, but he's starting to incorporate into American, traditions and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So he apparently had a comic book series in 2013. So that kind of brought him back into the forefront, I guess, in people's minds.
He's in the Venture Bros, A Very Venture Christmas. Shows up in there. He's an American Dad.
Of course he is. I'm surprised Roger doesn't disguise himself as Krampus in that.
And then, of course, you'd mention Red One. He shows up.
Yeah.
So what does he actually look like in Red? Like, does he look like Krampus? Or
he looks like he's like a big jacked dude, but he's got like four horns coming out. He looks kind of traditional looking, except he's like 14 feet tall and he's ultra ripped, ultra jacked.
Yeah.
And then him and The Rock get into a slap fight. Like this professional slapper things where they like line their shot up and then just try to annihilate you.
I don't know what possesses people to do those contests.
I don't know. I have no idea.
How do you train for that? From both ends, giving and receiving.
Yeah. I guess when you're a slapper, you just get like a punching bag, like a boxer. And then instead of boxing it, you're just constantly smacking it.
Have like a medicine ball that you're kind of just practicing like right hooks.
Yeah, your rotation.
Like your rotation or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
because I don't think it's a strength thing. It's got to be more about momentum and location.
That's fair. Because there are some pretty scrawny dudes, some scrawny boxers. I mean, they all keep them in the same weight class for fairness, but some smaller dudes that are throwing some pretty heavy punches and knocking people out.
Yeah. I was thinking more like along the lines of football, where like the quarterback's never the biggest dude on the team, but he can throw the ball the farthest. That's because it comes from your momentum in your feet, your hips, the movement, like, that kind of stuff.
The force of your
Whereas
throwing.
like a defensive lineman who's 6'8" and 320 pounds is just throws a ball and it's like 20 yards down the field because they don't have the right technique. So it's got to be in the technique. You could probably get like a smaller dude that can knock out a bigger dude in a slap fight just from practiced repetition or something.
Wasn't that a scene in Sherlock Holmes?
It could have been.
With Robert, yeah. He's like, there's this huge British dude, and he's, of course, tiny.
Yeah.
So he's like, step one, discombobulate. He does like the smack thing with the
boxes
ears.
The ears.
Yeah, boxes the ears and like disorient causes the man to get dizzy or whatever. And then like, step two, right hook. Like, yeah, just.
That's Austin Powers with the judo chop. Just into the nerves.
Yeah, so he's showing up in a lot of different, more modern things.
He's getting bigger every year, I think.
I'm kind of excited. I want to see more Krampus in American culture.
Did you watch the Santa Clauses? Like the Disney Plus show based on the movie The Santa Claus? It's like a redo, or not a redo, but it's a continuation of that like universe where Tim Allen and...
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Krampus shows up in that.
Does he?
Yeah, he goes to one of the universes where Krampus is like the Santa Claus of... And it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. The show itself is kind of a letdown, but that part was good. When he visits the other multiverse Santa Clauses. Man,
everybody's jumping on this multiverse thing.
Yeah.
But not even in superheroes, but the
just
idea...
in
film.
Film
in general.
Because it gives you so many options, I guess, where you can explore different characters outside of the one that you already know.
I feel like that would be a fun episode to explore. The concept
multiverse?
Of like the multiverse, because there really is like science behind that.
Yeah,
with string theory and the idea that where the possibility of like other dimensions and string multiverse is an actual thing.
Yeah,
kind of creepy, kind of scary if you think about it.
Like,
too.
that's more like existential crisis. I think that's more of a extraplanar kind of horror. If you think about it,
it's still creepy.
It is creepy. It's like a Lovecraftian. Almost,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're like, I mean, looking on the other side of the veil, like something's looking back at us, kind of thing. You know?
Right.
But that's cool though. No, so they go to like another universe, and Krampus is
Krampus is there.
That's neat. I think with more of him becoming more present in American culture, we'll probably see more instances of him showing up. It would be really cool. That game, was it Dead by Daylight?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the holiday special. If there's like a release.
Oh yeah.
As Krampus is one of the.
Or like one of those horror, like first person horror games where you have to try to escape Krampus.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what Dead by Daylight is?
Yeah, it's like a third person type of thing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of a different thing.
I think because some of the other, I think there's like
Michael
Myers
Jason
in it, Jason's in it,
yeah.
Leatherface is in it now.
Right.
It'd be cool if like Krampus is like,
escape Krampus,
and just like the clip of like you being thrown in his like internal nutsack of doom. That'd be awful.
His infernal nutsack.
Nutsack of doom, death and despair. Just you yeet your ass up. You're cartwheeling in the air. You look down, and you just see the sack open up, and it's a spiral of like just tortured souls and flames and screaming.
And then you realize you're just in the DMV.
I was going to say, you land, you wake up and you're like in a cubicle somewhere.
Working in the corner office of hell.
And Krampus walks up next to you with like the coffee cup and the water cooler. He's like a dork.
So we're going to need those files on Santa Claus's desk by 5 today. If you could do that, that'd be great. Well, anything you want to close out this episode with on your thoughts of Krampus?
I think he's a great guy. It's fun. He's loving. He wants to hug you, and when he does, it's just a warmth embrace of death and despair
and hellfire.
He smells like garlic.
You think? You think he smells like garlic?
No, he probably smells like, I don't know.
He probably smells like pipe tobacco smoke, musk, and tortured soul.
What's that really bougie cologne? It's like a red like bottle.
Yeah, I got you.
Top. Yeah, it probably smells like that. Just some bougie.
He smells great.
Yeah, can't get mad. It smells clean, crisp.
Now I like the idea that Krampus like walks into your house. He's like got the sunglasses on. He's on the phone talking to his agent. He just does not mind you and just put you in the sack. No. I said no. I was talking to him and he said that no, everything's good.
That little fucker bit me.
No, I'm on location right now. It's fine. I could talk.
He's like trying to crawl out. He just pulls out the bird. Just like whacking like that. Yeah. He's the complete jerk. Your thoughts on Krampus? Or Krampus?
I like him. I like the resurgence of these kind of long lost folk tales and stuff making their way into our everyday psyche now, where for the longest time, all you thought about during Christmas was Santa Claus, elves, snowmen, that kind of stuff. But now it's starting to evolve a little bit into that stuff. Plus, now you get like the spookier kind of scary side of Krampus.
Give me the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know about the evil. Like, what's all the dark side? It's Christmas with the dark side. Nobody wants to talk about that. But they should. It's Krampus.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, it's also just cool to have that cultural influence kind of spread for being dormant so long, where, like we said before, it was prevalent back way early pre-Christian era. And then as Christianity rose, got kind of turned into one thing and then silenced. And now it's coming back again. So anytime that something like that happens, I think it's kind of cool, depending on what it is. You know, there's some things that need to stay dead.
True.
Yeah, I like like I said, I like the idea of Santa and Krampus tag teaming houses. Santa being the good cop, Krampus coming in, just wrecking shop.
It's just a good cop, bad cop situation.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm telling you, like, they both roll up to the house. Like, Santa looks at the list. Oof. Rolls it back up and just taps him on the shoulder.
He's on the intercom, the headset. Yeah, we're gonna need Agent K1.
Just like a portal just beams down. It's like, and he's got he's got a baseball bat.
A birch baseball bat. He's evolved over the years.
With barbed wire in it.
The chains are wrapped around the bat.
He's just
or the bat is on the chain, so you could like launch it and then like pull it back in like Sub-Zero or a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Just eats this bat.
Fatality. There's the bat, just crushes someone's head. Good stuff.
It's so funny.
Santa just hears this. He's oh no.
Just hears just mute. He just mutes it. You gonna be at the Christmas party this year?
What do you think Krampus's favorite holiday song is? I think it's Carol of the Bells. Dun, 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 dun. It's like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of that song, where he's just wrecking everybody in the house to that song, just crescendoing.
You just hear the music, and then you see a brick go flying through the window, and the brick says "Merry Christmas."
Krampus.
It was funny that yesterday we were helping Britt's mom move, and up in the attic there's a random brick like on the wall, and it's a red brick, and it says "Merry Christmas" on it. And I was trying to figure out, okay, we need to figure out the backstory to this brick. This one brick that says Merry Christmas.
That feels very Home Alone too.
Yeah, right.
There's the brick through the window.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be. I can't think of any other reason why you would have a brick that says Merry Christmas other than throwing it through a window. Like, yeah, you're pissed off.
There's malicious intent behind it. Yeah,
exactly. There's no good intentions behind that brick. That's a Krampus brick.
Krampus the Brick Johnson.
It's like, okay, so the Krampus, you'll either get dragged to hell, you'll get garlic, you'll get a brick that says Merry Christmas. But
thrown through your window.
It's like, not enough to like really do any damage, but enough to ruin your Christmas, because that window repair is going to at least be $500.
Oh, at least. Depending on the window size. He always picks the biggest window.
Sometimes he throws 2 or 3 bricks.
All right, well, I think that'll wrap this episode up nicely. So make sure you're on the nice list this year so you don't get a visit from Krampus. Unless you do want to be on the naughty list like Nick did, and you want to ask Krampus some questions about his...
some cool questions for him.
What would your questions be?
It'd be
See,
more like,
now you don't even know.
No, it'd be more like, give me the ins and outs of what's the politics behind who gets on the naughty list and who doesn't. The ins and outs.
What constitutes the naughty list? What's the grading scale? Is
it so black and white? Is it gray? Is, maybe 1 year, stuff like that. What's Santa really like?
Oh, Santa's an asshole.
No one ever
Holly jolly my ass. That guy works us to death.
Who's the fastest reindeer?
Comet.
It's just stuff like that.
Comet's the fastest.
But he might say something. He might, yeah.
It's in the name.
I don't know. Blitzen sounds like he's pretty fast. Blitzen sounds like he can fuck some shit up. Yeah,
probably, but he's not the fastest.
Dasher is... Yeah. He's up there.
Prancer's...
No,
he's the
Prancer doesn't care. Prancer's just
prancing around. He doesn't care.
He's in his own little world.
Cupid. Come on, Cupid. What a stupid name.
I feel like Cupid doesn't even really
That was just Santa naming him after his friend.
I feel like Santa probably just went into like a name generator and was like, give me 12 random reindeer names.
Cupid, like he owes like Cupid a favor from Valentine's Day. So he's like, oh, I'll name one of my reindeer after you.
Yeah, basically.
He had Santa fall in love with Mrs. Claus or whatever, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, okay, I owe you one, Cupid. I'll name the reindeer after you.
But yeah, no.
What about Vixen? Vixen sounds sultry.
Yeah.
She's a little nasty reindeer. Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough of this.
This record scratch.
That's the one Krampus likes.
Krampus and Vixen got a thing going on. No.
Well, that'll do it for this week's episode. So thanks, you guys, for listening. As always, you can find us on Instagram, Shadows and Sightings Pod, Facebook, Shadows and Sightings, a paranormal podcast, or send us an email, shadowsandsightings@gmail.com. And we hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. And we're going to talk to you guys next time when we talk about all things spooky.